Hello and a very good evening to all the CUET aspirants. This is Sheetal and you're watching Hitbullseye. And we are back again with yet another live to help you, to aid you in your preparation for CUET exam, specifically for the verbal section. So as far we know, what were the most important questions in verbal section? Questions were seen from RCs, based on antonyms and synonyms, based on analogies and parajumbles, based on idioms and phrases. So in this series, we have been taking up each of these topics one by one and practicing as many questions as you can, and the most important ones in fact. So doing each and every word and doing all the jargon or vocabulary, covering up it all is, I know, not possible, but doing maximum of it and anticipating what kind of words can come and what kind of words have already been coming in the exams is something we can definitely do, right? So in today's live, we are going to do some important analogy questions. We have already done one live on it. If you want to have fair idea about what analogies is, if you want to understand the basics of it, the link will be given to you in the description box. You can go and visit that video also. But yes, I will be explaining the concept again and we will be taking up more such examples in today's live. So without any further delay, let's begin with today's live. Now first of all, what are analogies? Before moving on to the questions, analogies से हम क्या समझते हैं? किसी भी एक सिचुएशन के को समझाने के लिए जब हम एक सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन का एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं, दैट इज नोन एज ड्रॉइंग एन analogy, and this is applicable to the words also. For example, if we try to understand it with the letters, let's say if A is to B, whatever relation is of A with B, a similar kind of relationship option you'll have to find from the four option. So C is to D should have a similar kind of relationship. So the first challenge at hand is to decode the relationship between the set or the pair given in the question and then apply the same scale or let's say the same relation to the options given to you, right? On the basis of it, you can do the elimination method also for the ones you are very sure these cannot be the ones. The only difficulty that we face in analogies is poor vocabulary, or sometimes there are words in the option that we have not heard about ever before, right? But still it is not difficult, it is still not impossible. If you are even able to guess the 2-3 meanings from all the words given in the analogy question, trust me, you will be very close to wisely guess the right answer. And that is what we are going to learn in this live. So now we know what analogies is. Let's move on to the questions. So if you can read the question, for the pair of words in the first part of the question, that is this pair, choose a word that expresses a similar relationship with the word in the second part of the question. So these are the four pairs and you have to decide which pair has a similar kind of relationship as is of court and justice. So the first thing that we have to do is decode the relationship of this pair, right? Let's do it. So if we put variables for it, let's say court is A, justice is B, we can say A provides B, court provides justice, right? Now try to fit the same relationship in the rest of the given option. Can we say police station provide punishment? Does a police station always provide a punishment? No, it keeps people in custody. Yes, people do go there and file their FIR, and police station can keep the person in custody but not necessarily punish him until he is proven guilty, right? So we can easily eliminate this one. Book and education. Is book the only thing that can provide us education? Can't we get education from anywhere else also? Right? So this is problematic. Let's keep it on hold. Computer and typing. This is absurd. How can computer provide typing? You have to use a keyboard. Yes, you have to type things to send it to the computer, right? But computer doesn't provide typing. Does a garage provide you parking? Though people have been using garage for the other means also, but the whole purpose of garage is to provide parking to your vehicles. So this one is absolutely right. So we can eliminate this one because there are other options to provide education other than book. But for parking, garage is the only thing that provides you parking. It's a place meant for parking of vehicles. So this is how you have to do these questions. I've done the first one for you. Let's see if you are able to do the second one. Try to identify the relation of these two and try to fit it in the options. Let's see who's going to answer this one. Adolescence and adulthood. What is the relation between the two? Think about it. We know that adolescence is followed by adulthood. Adulthood will come after adolescence and not vice versa. Can you again go back to the adolescence? Though we all wish to, but we cannot. Right? So we can say B succeeds A, or B follows A, or B comes after A. So can we say day comes after night? Yes, that's true. But night also comes after day. So this is a relation of vice versa. We can eliminate this one, rule this out. Does a question always follow a problem? It might or it might not. We are not sure. So this one can also be eliminated. Is the examination always followed by result? Or do you give your exams after your result? This is not true. Yeah, right? So examination comes first and then you get your result. So this one is absolutely right. In this, B is followed after A, but not the vice versa. So this is the right answer. Marriage and engagement. We all know first there is engagement and then marriage. So this one can also be ruled out. I hope you've understood how to deal with analogy questions. Trust me, they are fun. If you try and doing these questions, they probe your mind, they improves your vocabulary. It not just helps you with the analogy question, helps you with antonyms and synonyms and to understand those RCs better. Let's see the next one. Ruse and deceive. Problem in I can see that maybe some people won't understand the meaning of ruse. Now this is a problem of not practicing enough, not accumulating enough words into your vocabulary, right? But we all know what deceive is. Deceive is जब आप किसी को किसी means से let's say धोखा देते हैं. If you lead someone into the wrong direction, if you convince people for the wrong thing, this is known as deceiving the person. Ruse is a kind of trickery or plan. So ruse leads to deceiving. Apply the same relation to the options. Altercation and reconcile. Altercation is noisy argument. Can a noisy argument lead to reconciliation? No, it cannot. Reconciliation is settling the argument. तो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि एक noisy argument के बाद reconciliation भी होगा. So this one again can be ruled out. Reconcile and counsel. Counsel is when you advise someone. Does reconciliation lead to counsel? No, it does not. So this one can also be ruled out. Apology and transgress. Transgress is to go against certain rules. Apology doesn't lead to transgress. In fact, it is quite opposite. Can be ruled out. Incentive and perform. That's right. If people get incentive, let's say it promotes or it helps people to perform better. It leads them to perform better. So this one is the right option. Incentive leads in improvement of performance. Coup and govern. Coup is a sudden attack of an army. Does it lead to govern? No. An absurd relation, not related to the one we are looking for. So this one can also be ruled out. You should also try doing these. If you are watching this video later on, you can pause the video and try doing these questions on your own. Outcast and hatred. Now, what is the relation between the two? outcast person, a person who has been, let's say, exiled, who has faced the exile, or who is not acceptable by the society or the social circle he usually was, he initially was in, the person is known as an outcast. So an outcast will always face hatred or face the hatred, right? Let's see and apply the same relation to the option. Beaten and mercy. Will a person who's beaten always have mercy? He might or he might not. So this one can be ruled out. Hero and worship. Is a hero always worshipped? This is an extreme case. We can say there is admiration for a hero, that too not from everyone, every member of society. So we can easily eliminate this one. Defeated and learning. So a person who's defeated, this is again not in any way necessary that he will learn something, right? He might or he might not. So this one can also be clearly eliminated. Can you see how easy these questions are if you understand each and every word? Honored and respected. So just as an outcast faces hatred of people, a person who is honored is always respected by the people, is always revered by the people. So this is the right answer. Let's see if you can do the next one. Train and track. Now this is a tricky one. Look closely. Car and road. First of all, the relation between the two. Train and track. A train always goes on a track. The track facilitates the speed or accelerates the speed or gives the direction to the train, the moving train. Does a road always give direction to a car? Yes. Car travels on the road, right? That is true. So this particular thing is common. But on a road, the cars can go, come and fro. They can easily go or easily change the direction. But on a track, the train is always on one direction, right? Bullet and barrel. Now what is barrel? So before this, let's see the rest of the two. Missile and trajectory. So a missile may have any trajectory, right? Information and flow, and moreover the trajectory doesn't give the direction to the missile. In fact, the missile leaves the trajectory, right? Information and flow. Flow of information can again be any way, right? But bullet and barrel. So barrel is the funnel kind of thing of a bullet. It gives the direction to the bullet. Always a fixed direction, just as a track gives a direction to the train. So yes, this is the right answer. So we can select our answer, which is B. All right, let's see if you can do the next one. Socks and shoes. What is the relation between socks and shoes? Aren't they complementary? A complements B. They go along, right? Only when you are wearing a shoes, you'll also be wearing a socks usually. Coffee and tea, are they complementary or do they substitute each other? So a person either prefers coffee or tea. So they are not complementary. They in fact substitute each other. They replace each other. Lipstick and handbag. There can be n number of items in a lady's handbag, not necessarily just the lipstick. So eliminated. Petrol and car, or water and drink. So water is a kind of drink. Now this is also one kind of relation when A is a kind of B. For example, orange. Orange is a kind of fruit. Mango is a kind of fruit. Tomato is a kind of vegetable. Table is a kind of furniture. Chair is a kind of furniture. So this is different kind of relationship. We are looking for complementary pair. The complementary pair here is petrol and car. The car can't go without petrol. They both complement each other. So this is the right answer. Alright, should not be disheartened if you were not able to do this one. Try your luck in this one. Perspective and discern. What is the relation between the two, first of all? Perspective, a person will have a perspective only if he can discern, he can clearly understand things, he can clarify. So a person will have perspective if he can discern. Determined and hesitate, can a person be determined if he hesitates? No, they are quite opposite, they are contrary. Can easily eliminate this one. Persistent and persevere, being steadfast, being goal oriented is being or showing perseverance. So yes, if a person wants to be persistent, he need to show perseverance, or he need to persevere. Right answer. Abandoned and neglected, restrained and rebel, a person who's restrained doesn't necessarily have to rebel against something. Let's see if we are able to do or identify the relation of this. Now this is a bit different from the ones we have been doing. Mystify is to understand, similarly what is to what. This is how we read the question. A is to B, similarly C is to D, and what should that C and D be? Mystify and understanding, aren't they quite contrary? Aren't they quite opposite to each other? Something, if you mystify something, it won't be any more understandable, right? So they are opposite. Ensure and disaster, rearrange and order, reciprocate and interchange. All of these might each complement each other, but they are not opposing, right? Nip and maturation is the only right option here, logical and viable answer here. Nip is, for example, if you see a bud of, before it flowers, if you nip it in the bud, you must have heard of this phrase also, nip the problem in the bud. So before the problem magnifies, nip it when it's immature, at the primary stage itself. So something that is nipped cannot mature. Something that is mystified cannot be understood. Right answer is nip and mature. Frugality and stingy, a very interesting question. Let's see if you are able to do this. Please try to do these questions and drop in your answers in the chat box. Frugality and stingy. First of all, what do these words mean? Now a wonderful insight about this pair is, a wonderful thing about this pair is, both meaning of both the words are same, but connotation is different. दोनों का मतलब होता है बहुत ही सोच समझ के, judiciously अपने resources को या पैसों को use करना. To use your money wisely and judiciously is frugality. पर what is the difference between stingy and frugality? Stingy होता है कंजूस, right? So there is a difference of connotation. दोनों का meaning same है, but अलग context में हम use करते हैं दोनों words को. So let's try to find out one such pair which are almost similar in meaning, but connotation is different. Warmth and generous, both are kind of synonyms, and their meaning is also same. So connotation is also same. We can eliminate this one. हमें तो opposite connotation वाला word चाहिए. Reflection and thoughtful. Again, if you reflect on something, you are being thoughtful about something. So connotation is similar. Pride and haughty. So pride is you being confident about something and carrying your pride. That is okay, right? It's in a positive sense. Just as frugality has a positive connotation, pride also has a connotation. But haughty is excessive or arrogant pride, or the audacity that one person shows about being proud. So haughty is again with negative connotation, just as stingy is. Right answer is this one. If you look at the last one, jauntiness and morose. Jauntiness is a state of being happy. Morose is being sad. So they are quite opposite to each other. But we are looking for a pair which have similar meaning but opposite connotations. I hope this much is clear. Let's now see the relation of vaccination and immunity. How to decode the relation of these two? We can say A provides B. If you are vaccinated, it provides you B. So vaccination provides immunity. Similarly, does money provides you guarantee? So this is obscure. Guarantee in what terms? There can be different connotations attached to it. So not sure about this one. Reading, does reading provide you writing? No, that's not true. Yes, it helps you to write better, but it doesn't necessarily provide you writing. Permission and approval. So a permission will always provide you an approval for something. Criticism and direction. A criticism doesn't always provide you a direction. So the only viable option here is permission and approval, right? Livid and anger. Again, similar kind of relationship but varying degree. ऐसे relationships को हम कहते हैं varying degree, which means both A and B means the same thing but in different degrees. दोनों की measurement जो है वो कम या ज़्यादा होगी. For example, anger is, we all know, being bitter or being aggressive. Livid is being very angry. So degree of this one is greater than degree of this one. But they both mean same. They both mean being angry. Quarrelous and reconciliation. A person who's quarrelous, will he reconcile easily? No, these are quite opposite. We are looking for the similar words but with varying degree. Forlorn and hope. Forlorn is being lonely. Can a lonely person expect, can you expect a lonely person to have hope? No, that's not, again, not right. So both of these can be ruled out. Let's see the third one. Radiant and happiness. A person who's happy might not always be radiant, might not always show radiance. Can be eliminated. The last one is marvelous and wonder. So marvelous is again very wonderful, something that is really wonderful. So varying degree. Again, one more thing that I want to point out here is, if there is a varying degree between the first word and the second word, right, the direction should also be same. If A is greater than B in the option, the next pair should also be in the same direction. A should be greater than B. It cannot be the opposite way. Proficiency and expert. Proficiency is being skilled or experienced in something. So an expert, let's say B has A or B possesses A. Try doing this one. B possesses A. Does a winner always have recognition? In some cases, or let's say in most cases, yes, but not every winner has recognition. Does an athlete have victory? He might or he might not. So there are so many athletes competing at one point of time and everyone cannot be victorious. Passion and enthusiast. So a person who's enthusiastic, energetic, agile about doing things is always governed by his passion or always possesses passion for doing that particular thing. This is the right pair. A doctor and medicine. A doctor mostly prescribes medicine, might have medicine or might not even have the medicine. Office and appointment. Is office a place which is always known for the appointments? No, there are meetings also, right? Other works also. So this one again doesn't talk about what was talked in the question. So the right answer here is enthusiast is governed by passion, expert is governed by proficiency. Okay, now I know maybe many of you do not know the meaning of errata. Errata is to books, flaws is to what? Now what are these kind of questions? You can solve these questions like this. Just as A is to B, so as C is to D. Or you can write it like this. A is to B, C is to D. The relation should be like this. C is related to A, or let's say C is performing the role of A, D should be performing the role of B. So the answer that we have to find out here should be performing the role of books. Can it be manuscript? Where do you find flaws? वैसे हमें सबको पता है flaws का मतलब होता है गलतियाँ, लेकिन यहाँ पर second meaning employ हुआ है flaws का. So in metals, even after enriching the metals, there are sometimes impurities, and which are also known as flaws. तो यहाँ पर flaws का secondary meaning use हुआ है. So the right answer is metal. Errata are the let's say mistakes which are left even after the book has been published. So an additional column or an additional page is added to that book after it is published to list those mistakes that were left out earlier. Similarly, after the metals have been enriched, there still are some impurities which are also known as flaws. Now this is a similar kind of relation. अब flaws manuscript में भी हो सकते हैं, speech में भी हो सकते हैं और charter में भी हो सकते हैं. But यहाँ पर you have to think कि अगर इन तीनों में हो सकते हैं, then maybe the secondary meaning is employed. अगर primary meaning होता तो हम इनमें से एक option choose नहीं कर सकते, not easily, right? तो इसका secondary meaning है impurities. So the right answer is metals. Just as breeze is to cyclone, so is drizzle to what? Breeze is pleasant air, right? And cyclone is turbulent air. So this is again varying degree. Breeze और cyclone दोनों में wind होती है, but with a varying degree. Breeze में pleasant wind होती है, cyclone में turbulent होती है. Similarly, drizzle is light rain. What should be the similar kind of word which shows a higher degree? Cyclone is of higher degree than breeze. What should come here at the place of D? So drizzle is of lower degree. What should be of higher degree? Can it be earthquake? Earthquake is nothing related to rain or drizzle. Can eliminate this one. It cannot be storm. We are doubtful about flood and downpour. Usually people are, right? But we have to think about it clearly. Flood can also be caused by overflowing of the rivers, by the cyclone also. But downpour is again heavy rainfall. जब एकदम से बहुत ज़्यादा बारिश हो जाए तो उसे डाउनपोर कहते हैं, लेकिन हल्की हल्की बूंदाबांदी को हम ड्रिजल कहते हैं, right? So right answer is downpour. All right, an example of vertical analogy. So don't get confused about vertical analogy. This is the same thing that I've been teaching you. Just as A is to B, similarly C should be having a same relation with D. Latitude and altitude and earthquake. So, sorry, equator. So you all know what equator is. If this is the globe, okay, I know this globe isn't looking really good. So you can see my drawing is pathetic. If this is the globe, the 0 degree line which separates the northern hemisphere from the southern hemisphere is known as equator. And what is latitude? The imaginary lines that are drawn on the earth like this are known as latitudes. So we go from earthquake to the higher level to the poles, the north and the south pole. Similarly, what can we fit with altitude? So we count latitude, or we see the degree of latitude with respect to equator, that is the 0 degree line. How do we count, or how do we measure the altitude? Altitude is measured in terms of height. And what is the bottommost level we consider? We all know surface of earth is uneven. It's not equal everywhere, it's uneven. So how to calculate the altitude? It is done by the sea level. So if we in an imaginary way, if we divide the globe in northern and southern hemisphere, it's easy to divide it using the equator, but it's really hard to measure something from the height, at a height from the earth. So usually what do we consider? We take it from the sea level. So altitude is counted from the sea level, just as latitudes are counted from the 0-degree equator. I hope this one is clear. Car and road. Cars travel on road. Similarly, does ink travel on pen? Does bomb travel in missile? And fly and bird. This is opposite. So this one can easily be eliminated. Ink and pen can also be. So missile doesn't, we can't say bomb travels in missile, but yes, electricity always travels in a cable, just as car travels on a road. So this is the right answer. I hope you are all listening carefully and you are all able to understand it, and you will practice these questions. Crime is to accomplice. Similarly, let's say A is to B. Similarly, can you find out a similar kind of relationship? Legislation is to parliament, repair is to mechanic, journey is to train, textbook is to co-author. So we know when a person commits a crime, the person who accompanies him is known as accomplice. Similarly, if a person writes a textbook, you can see a person who aided him or who helped him in writing that particular textbook is known as co-author. तो एक तो होता है author, जो main author होता है textbook का, और जो उसके साथ help करता है known as co-author. Similarly, crime में एक होता है main culprit, जिसने वो crime किया है, एक होता है accomplice, जिसने उसका साथ दिया है. Right? So the similar kind of relationship can be seen in this one. Train and journey, repair and mechanic, and all these doesn't even make any sense. We have to find out that second person. Yes, so that was all for today. I hope you understood all the terms carefully, and I hope you did enjoy the lecture, and you will do practice some on your own also. Trust me, doing analogies is interesting as well as helpful. We will be live again with more such interesting topics. If you want to see, or if you want us to come up with any such topic, please feel free to write it in the chat box so that we know and we take up the topic in the next live. Until then, keep smiling and keep studying. Thank you.